So today I just wanted to come on and share some of my favorite powders with you all. Powders can be something that are really tricky to find. You don't want something too matte or too dry, but you do want something to set your makeup. So I've pulled together a couple of my favorites here. One that you guys have probably heard me talking about, or at least seen in many of my videos, are the Hourglass Ambient lighting powders. I have been using these since literally the day that they came out. I was working in Sephora at the time, so we had access to all of the launches, and this was the powder that changed my entire life, honestly. I have a video on YouTube about why this is the best powder for dry skin, which I still firmly stand behind. But if you don't know what these are, there's a whole range, and they're lightly tinted. There's no talc, they're a baked powder, so they're really lightweight and fine on the skin, and they have a whole bunch of different colors. Some of them may be a little trickier to use, but they're my favorite for setting underneath the eyes. So for fair to medium skin, ethereal is beautiful and diffused is beautiful. So ethereal is the lightest shade that they have, and it's almost a white. And I use this one on myself quite often, especially in the winter time. It just sets underneath the eyes really beautifully. If you have a little bit more color in your skin, still in that like light to medium range, even tan can kind of get away with this. This one is diffused, and this one has more of a yellow undertone. So it's not going to be as white as ethereal, but it'll still be super brightening and kind of just lifts all of that area up, but no dryness, no caking. It doesn't settle into fine lines. Pretty much most other powders will like make wrinkles worse. It'll make my skin look super dry. I have really, really dry skin. I do have some fine lines, but you can't really see them until I put a powder on. So those Hourglass ambient lighting powders are amazing. They also come in palettes like this with a bunch of colors, and I have been waiting for them for years to put out dark colors. So colors that you could use on people with like tan to deep skin tones. And I saw online recently that Hourglass has put together those palettes. So the 3 shades, and they do have some offerings for deeper skin tones. So that is not something I've tried out yet personally, but I plan on making an order because I think absolutely every single person should try those powders. Okay, the next one that I think I use the most frequently, or actually one that I recently picked up and have been loving, is this Dior one right here. This is the Dior, I think, No Powder Powder. Powder No Powder. And this also comes in a bunch of different colors. A better shade range, I would say. They're all fairly neutral. Really kit friendly, super, super thin. And I love this also for kind of underneath the eyes, around the nose, through the center of the face. Normally I'm using this one more on my forehead, around my nose, chin, and then when I want to do a sculpted like cheekbone jawline, I actually reverse shade. So if I'm shading here with a darker color, I use a lighter tone right underneath to make my cheekbones pop up a little bit more. So I've been loving this. Again, super finely milled. There's a little bit of luminosity to it, but no big flecks of glitter. Definitely will be buying more shades of this for my kit. Okay, other mattifying powders. So I love the Laura Mercier ones. I feel like they've just been kind of like a staple. So I don't use the translucent one as much, but I do enjoy using the tinted versions. And I use the pressed version, I think, a little bit better than the tinted version. Nice to have both options though. And I love that this has more of that yellowy, peachy, golden, warm undertone. So I use this a lot on my deeper skinned models just to knock back any shine. It is translucent, so it won't really leave a cast of color on your skin, and sometimes that's something that you want. But if you do want a powder that's going to knock back shine, set, but also like brighten up a little bit or give a little bit of color, I have been loving the Black Opal powders. These I think are technically maybe foundation powders. It just says oil absorbing pressed powder. So this might not be the foundation version. But I love these, and I use these all the time on models. Let me open these up for you. They've got a pretty good color range, and you can find them at Ulta. So these are the least expensive powders on my list, which is crazy because they're the quality of all of my high-end powders. I just happen to like the colors better than a lot of high-end brands out there. I feel like sometimes they go too neutral, whereas these really do have beautiful different undertones, golds, reds, some neutrals as well, but these are stunning. So they work really nicely across the face, but they also are fine enough to set underneath the eyes. And I particularly love this one, Marvelous Maple, as an under eye setting color on my more tan to deep skinned models. And I think that actually might be the roundup of all of the powders that I pulled. Like I said, it can be a really, really tricky product to find, something that's gonna keep your makeup on, but also keep you looking really fresh. My final tip would be when you're powdering, don't powder all over your face. If you don't need a product on your face, if you don't need makeup somewhere on your face, don't put it there. That is my number one kind of philosophy when it comes to makeup, is to only be placing things, unless it's like fun, colorful stuff, only be placing base products where you actually need it. It's going to, one, make your makeup last longer because there's less for your oils to break down throughout the day. Two, look so much more natural because you're leaving bits of skin out, like the tops of my cheeks never have any foundation on it or any concealer because I don't need it there. Whereas around my nose, my chin, underneath the eyes, I do need some help, so I will put the coverage there. So only use powder in the same way. If you tend to get shiny in the center of the face, just precision powder. So take a smaller brush, press it only in the areas where you tend to get shiny. If you do get oily all over, maybe try to set a little bit heavier so you can use your heavier layer where you get shiniest the most, and then just do a light dusting everywhere else. I also really like to use the press and roll technique. So instead of dusting powder all over my face or on models, I really like to press the product in, roll it in so that it's actually really sinking into the face and not just leaving this little layer everywhere. So I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions about powder, powdering techniques, or any of the products that I have used, let me know. I can also do up close swatch videos of any of these if you would like to see them. So just let me know you're interested in seeing. Leave a comment if you have any other questions, and I will talk to you guys later.